the top 6 guys that are currently available in the transfer portal now that Stojakovic and Cedric Coward have committed are all guys. Well, 5 of them are uncommitted. The number 1 transfer in the country is Yaxel Lendeborg, and he has he is committed to Michigan. But the top 6 guys are all also declared for the draft. And I think it's an interesting conversation because Cedric Coward obviously has committed to Duke, and it's going to be a choice that he has to make. But it's going to Duke where you're going to make a lot of money or be able to play on a team that can win a national championship, or it's going to the NBA where I'm assuming that if he leaves and he stays in the draft, he will end up being a first-round pick, either it's this year or next year. But the other 6 guys, it's a little bit more of a clouded conversation. Let's start with Yaxel, because I'm kind of the mindset that he's probably going to the draft. It just feels like this is the kind of dude that has like top 20 pick written all over him. And if you're a top 20 pick, like I don't see how you could say no to the draft as a top 20 pick this year, next year, whatever year you're going.
Yeah, I don't know if he's definitely a top 20 pick. That's the hard part. And if he's not, if they're saying in the NBA, hey, you're going to go probably closer to 20 to 40 or 25 to 40 is usually the range they give. And Yaxel's got $3 million sitting on the table at Michigan. Or you could, again, you'll get a guaranteed contract, even if you go, 35 or 40, but it won't be $3 million for this year. You've got a decision to make at that point. And I think all these guys do. None of them are locked first rounders at this point. Certainly, to me, obviously, if you're a lottery pick, you're gone. You're gone. Like, there's no reason, even with the money that's on the table right now in college, no reason to come back. But if you're in the 15 to 25 range, gets a little sticky. You're probably in good shape. You probably should go for the most part. But if you're in the 25 to 45 range, I don't know why you don't come back to college. For a couple reasons, Rob. One, the money, right? We know the money is better right now. $2 million for the 30th pick in the NBA draft. Most of these guys right now that we're talking about are going to make at least $2 million this year. Some of them upwards of $3 million this year. The other part is, in the past, a lot of these kids would say, listen, I hate school. I don't want to go to school, right? I don't want to go to college. I'm done with college, whatever. Now, again, if they played 4 or 5 years in college, I get it. You know what? Like, I'm all for it too. 5 years of college, you should be done. 4 years and you got an extra year, okay, maybe you come back. But the difference now is a lot of these guys now never have to step foot in a classroom anymore. Everything's online. It's much easier. Trust me, I know. I have a daughter who goes to college right now, and she's crushing it, and I know she doesn't work that hard. Give her credit. She is crushing it with her grades and doing a full-time job. But again, I understand it's a lot easier than when you went to school, certainly than when, I went to Arizona. So it wasn't that hard for me. But all I'm saying is it's not as tough as it used to be going to class, going to school. It's not quite as taxing as it used to be.
I think there's two really interesting parts of this conversation to have. And the first is it's the fit. I think what Yaxel did is the right way to do it. And we've seen Cedric Coward do this as well, which is where you've talked quite a bit about this. You found yourself a landing spot where it is going to be the right fit for you if you decide to come back to school. You're going to be in a place that will put you in a position to be able to better your draft stock, to be able to better yourself as a player, to be able to make sure that if you are projected, let's just say that Yaxel Lendeborg gets word back from the NBA committee and he's projected 30 to 40. I know they don't do that, but let's just say he's projected early second round and he doesn't have a guarantee in the first round. He's going to a place where he should be able to put up similar numbers, have a similar impact. And we just saw a guy like Danny Wolf play his way into being a top 20 pick in a similar role, I'm assuming, to what Yaxel Lendeborg will be able to do. At the very least, you got a guy in Dusty May that is smart enough to be able to figure out a way to be able to make it work for you, right? So he found himself a really, really good landing spot with a really, really good number when it comes to what you can earn. And he still has the opportunity to go play his way potentially into getting a 4-year guaranteed deal as a first round pick in the NBA. And I think that's the way you got to do it. The truth of the matter is, for the most part, you're probably going to have more money this year if you are coming back to college for any of these guys, right? I don't think any of them are in a position where they're going to be able to have a bigger number for the first year of their contract than what they would get if they decided to come back to college and up the bidding war. To me, it's make sure that you can find yourself a place to be able to have the best fit possible in college. So if the results and what you're hearing from the NBA, if your agents aren't telling you, hey, we got you lined up for this organization where you could be a fit, or these guys are interested in you and you be a fit. And what you're hearing is, well, they want you at this place and this place, and those are bad organizations. They lose, are always thinking it's probably not going to be someone that prioritizes you. We haven't seen second round picks survive there. If you have good representation, you have a good agent, and you're able to find yourself a good landing place in college, then you can make an educated decision on who was interested you in the NBA. And I think that Yaxel is doing this the right way, and Cedric Coward is doing this the right way. And I don't know if any of these other guys, their agents, listen to the show.
Why? You know why? Ahead. They're doing it the right way because you may not be getting quite as much. Yaxel got money. I mean, he got about $3 million. I don't know what Cedric Coward got. I'm assuming he got paid well, but he probably, if he waited, could have gotten more money at the end, right? Let's say a month from now, he comes out of the portal. He probably could have gotten more money, but my guess is Duke wasn't going to wait for him. And he can make more money at the end of the day if he wins games at Duke next year and win more games, certainly, than some of the other places that would pay him a little bit more money, a month from now. So
and again, that's part of my point. That's part of my point because I think there are guys that, if you look at the guys that got paid the most this past season and waited for, instead of finding the right situation, they waited to be able to pull their name from the draft and then go to the highest bidder. I don't think that the highest bidder at the end of the day is
going to say who they are.
Yeah,
I mean, you could say that they were Coleman Hawkins.
It was Great Osborne and Coleman Hawkins. I don't think that they ended up in the best situation for them as a player. And like for Coleman, part of it was he was banged up. He had a knee injury, and when you have a completely new roster, that's just hard, right? And Great Osborne,
and he wanted to make money, and he wanted. Yeah. He wanted to make money because he didn't the previous year at Illinois. He was on a very low contract because he didn't put his, if you remember, name in the portal. So he had no leverage with Illinois.
Yeah. So it's, I don't want to say that they're cautionary tales, but like you got to be mindful that this is not a 1-year thing, right? If you're cashing out for the payday for 1 year, great. I hope you get as much as you possibly can, but there's much more money to be made if you put yourself in a situation where you are going to showcase your strengths. And I think that we've seen, Yaxel and Cedric are the guys who are the perfect example of why that would work. The other thing that I'll say is the cautionary tale for me would be that when there is not as much tape on you, when there's a little bit more hype, and when you are there's a good taste, like when people don't really know necessarily what to expect from you for the next step, when there's still a little bit of an unknown, it gives you a little bit of a higher ceiling. And when you come back to school, there's a little bit of a risk of, I don't want to say being exposed, but people can find out. You go from being someone that they're excited about saying this is what he can do to this is what he can't do. And the example that I'd give for this is probably Alex Caravan, right?